colleagues from the media. As you may all be aware, we have an important assignment to execute in AKWATIA, and the assignment is to provide security for the by-elections for the AKWATIA constituency. Now, the constituency is divided into 119 polling stations. We have 21 electoral areas and one collation center and one constituency. As you may all be aware, the Ghana Police Service, in collaboration with other sister security agencies, have provided and continue to provide security arrangements for all our elections in this country. We want to assure all the citizens, the political parties, and the journalists of their safety and security during this exercise. I must say that as part of our effort to ensure that we have free and fair elections, the Ghana Police Service Management Board, led by the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohonu, engaged with the Electoral Commission and had some conversations or discussions and modalities regarding how the by-election in AKWATIA is going to be conducted. These discussions were very fruitful and informed some changes in how the EC intends to run the elections at AKWATIA. The POMAB members also had an engagement with both political parties, the major political parties, the NDC and the MPP. And during this engagement, their concerns and their fears were laid bare by the Inspector General of Police, reassured all of them of the professionalism and the commitment of the Ghana Police Service to deliver on its mandate by providing security for all the political parties as well as all the electorates that will be participating in this exercise. We also had an encounter with civil society organizations, including the Peace Council, and all our engagements was to reassure them of our commitment, dedication, and professionalism in delivering on our statutory mandate. And as part of this engagement, we have deployed 5,500 police personnel for this by-election. All the personnel have gone round to familiarize themselves with their polling stations and the electoral areas where they will be performing their duties. As part of these engagements, the police personnel will get themselves involved in community engagements to reassure the communities, the electorates, that they should not fear. They should all come out and cast their votes, exercise their rights as good citizens of this country. Now, certain protocols have also been defined for the polling stations, the collation center, and the so-called observers or monitors who go around from one polling station to the other. Now we have informed the EC to provide specific accreditations to the polling agents, people that will be accredited to the collation centers, the media, and the monitors or observers who will be going around to observe the elections at various polling stations and electoral areas. We want to emphasize that if you are not accredited to a polling station, you have no business at the polling station, with the exception of those legitimate voters who are going there to exercise their franchise. So if you don't have accreditation to a polling station, you have no business going to the polling station. And those who are going to exercise their franchise, once you vote, you can go home and rest. And when it is time for the collation of the results, you can come back and observe and participate in the exercise. At the collation center, the media that will be accredited are the only media that will have access to the collation center. The political party agents that will also be accredited to be at the collation center are those. The police service is deploying a total of 5,500 police personnel for these elections. The deployment is strategically done based on the number of polling stations, the number of voters for a particular polling station. We have also zoned the areas into the 21 electoral areas. So we have enough and adequate police personnel to provide security at those locations. If the concern is that we have more than police personnel deployed at a particular polling station, I think the better for them, because that is to reassure them of their safety and security during this exercise. And we have the command center that will be monitoring all the activities around the 119 polling stations. I've mentioned that we have technology enabled capabilities that will allow us to be able to monitor all these activities. And this is going to inform our rapid response to any situation within a particular polling station or electoral area. So that is assurance we are giving to the good people of AKWATIA, and that they should be ready and be assured that their safety is guaranteed. Now, to the accreditation, the EC is working around the clock to ensure that the media, observers, political party representatives at the collation center, political parties representatives at the polling stations are accredited. Now, the political parties are submitting the list of their polling agents to the EC. In the same vein, the media houses are also requested to submit the names of their media persons who will be covering this by-election. And therefore, before the D-Day, that is the 2nd September, I believe strongly that the EC would have made the accreditations available to the media houses. And that will inform how we want to admit those who have accreditation or those who want to monitor the exercise. However, if you do not have the accreditation before the D-Day, sometimes the EC itself provides us with a list of other media houses who may have not submitted their names for accreditation. And once they send those lists to us, we share with our team at the collation center or at the polling stations. And once you mention your name and it's on the list, even though you don't have the accreditation and you have your ID card, you may, I choose my words carefully, you may be allowed to observe the process. Where we are going to have strict enforcement of only accredited persons, then my may shall change to shall. It means if you don't have the accreditation, you will not be entertained, particularly at the collation center. Let me also urge the media. We need your support. We need you to be able to cover this and bring out reportage that is balanced. We don't want a situation where the media will bring certain reportage to paint a particular institution in the bad taste. I think it's not good for all of us. We are in it together, and we must work together as a team to ensure that whatever we produce for the consumption of the good people of this country is in the best interest of the state. I think that should be the hallmark. That should be the riding factor for us to cover this by-election in AKWATIA. Thank you very much for your question. That will be allowed. The observers, election observers, that will also be accredited at the collation center are those that will be allowed to participate in that exercise. Apart from these accredited persons or individuals, organizations, or institutions, no any other person will be allowed at the collation center. If you are not accredited to be at the collation center, please do not, I repeat, do not venture to appear at the collation center. We have also earmarked certain security strategies to prevent people from exercising unconstitutional rights, and that is motorbikes, the use of motorbikes. We may not infringe upon people's rights, preventing them from riding their motorbikes. However, these motorbikes will only be entertained 100 meters away from the polling stations, and we will not encourage pillion riders during this period where we have the by-elections. I want to add that the Inspector General of Police has announced zero tolerance for weapons. What it means is that even VVIP and bodyguards to ministers, parliamentarians will not be allowed to carry their sidearms or weapons into the polling stations. They may have to hand over their weapons at the police stations, then they can accompany them into the inner perimeter of the police stations. On the other hand, they may not be allowed to accompany them. They may stand 100 meters away from the polling station and wait for their principals. Once they exercise whatever they are supposed to do, they come and they can escort their principals and provide whatever security they intend to provide for them. The Inspector General of Police has announced the deployment of what we call the Black Maria. The Black Maria is a specialized purpose vehicle that we are going to use to accommodate miscreants who intend to create any mayhem or cause confusion during the elections. So when you see the Black Maria around, don't be afraid, provided you are not going to cause any confusion or cause any violence during this electoral process. We want to also inform you that we have technology-enabled capabilities that we are going to deploy. This includes CCTV, body cameras, and we'll also fly some drones. These are all capabilities that we are going to deploy to help us ensure maximum and adequate security for these by-elections. I must also caution of misinformation and disinformation. It is very important that the media and those on social media, that if you are in doubt, the command center will be opened all through round during this electoral process. You may come here and cross-check with any information that you are not too sure of. So we want to caution the media as well as those on social media that whatever information they publicize should be facts that have been cross-checked and rechecked and cross-checked before they publicize them. This is to help us to be able to ensure that the media space is sanitized. It's only the facts that are reported. Let me also indicate that the military will be only on standby. As and when we need them, then we will deploy them. But if we don't need the military, we will not request for the deployment of the military. So they are only going to be on standby. Once again, I want to reassure all the good people of AKWATIA that they should come out in their numbers and exercise their franchise. The Ghana Police Service will continue to reassure them of their safety and security during this period. I thank you very much for your attention and your coverage.